Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to today's Feisty Friday. So just as a preface, my two doodles are feeling extra yappy today, so you might hear some barking in the background. I tried to kind of secure them, but you might hear them in the background. So anyways, today I want to talk about one of my clients. So this specific client, I wanted to talk about her because I think she has a similar story to a lot of people out there, and maybe you resonate with this. So she's somebody who is active, she goes to group fitness classes, and she loves to run. But in the fall, like November, December timeframe, she started to develop some knee pain that was holding her back from even running at all. And this was super frustrating for her because she's somebody who strength trains and loves to be active. She wants to run races without any issue and be able to go outside and just run with no issue, right? No worries. But that wasn't possible for her. So we got connected. I'd actually worked with her previously, but we reconnected and decided to tackle this knee pain together. And here are some things that I found during the assessment process. So first, her symptoms were like really uncomfortable clicking in her knee. And then also going up and down the stairs was hurtful. She couldn't step up on a box without pain. And it was mainly on one side, all right? So in the assessment process, some things that popped up to me was she had a really hard time like getting into a kneeling position. So it was really uncomfortable. So she wasn't able to like sit back on her heels without being in a lot of discomfort. So we had that issue. And then also what I found through my assessments is that her glutes were not lengthening properly. So when your glutes aren't lengthening properly and not like fully doing their job, then you're going to have compensations in other areas. So either in the hips usually, and then that can a lot of times go down into the knee. So like just because you're in knee pain doesn't mean it's necessarily a knee issue, right? So it might be above or below. And so that's a really important key to think about here. So that's what I found to be like one of the more glaring issues. And then also was just a lack of strength on that side. She wasn't able to step up on a box without knee pain, like not even a small box. And this is a huge issue because when we don't have strength, like enough strength in our joint and in our legs, when we go outside and run, that's going to be problematic because running is essentially like single leg hopping, one side to the other for lots and lots of steps, lots of pounding, right? The force that our joints absorb when we're running can be up to 3 to 4 times our body weight, I believe is what the study says. And so you can see if there are any issues with flexibility, mobility, strength, certain areas of our lower body not doing their job, like, yeah, that's going to result in some discomfort when we're running. And so after we found out all that information, it really helped me develop like, okay, here's what we need to do to address this knee pain, right? And by addressing where the knee pain was coming from, we're able to take care of the root cause instead of just slapping Band-Aids on it, right? So something that she could have done instead of hiring me was something like going and get massages or going to get dry needling done. And like that can definitely give you some temporary relief, but it's really just like slapping a Band-Aid over a bullet wound, because like you wouldn't be addressing the root cause of why the knee pain is there in the first place. So things like massage, dry needling, like those things are good, but they're not gonna solve the problem, right? It's like those are tools. So like you need the right tool for the job if you wanna solve your knee pain for good. And so I use that information from the assessments and testing to structure her programming. So what I did with her is she did a virtual session with me once per week. I do virtual sessions with people when we're having a situation where they're not able to do certain movements without pain. So with her, she wasn't able to like do step-ups without pain, or certain movements without a lot of discomfort. And so because of that, I need the ability to like troubleshoot in the moment so that we can change stuff up if I need to, because it's really important that also the exercises that you're doing, that you're actually feeling them in the right places. So I really wanted to make sure that that was happening. So I saw her once per week for a virtual session, and then she had 2 days of homework to do on her own. We stuck with that cadence for 4 months. And she just hit her 4 months at the end of March. And so at the end of that 4 months, totally out of knee pain, and she gained so much strength and increased range of motion. We worked on lengthening the glutes. We worked on her strength. She went from not being able to do any step ups without major discomfort to be able to step up on a box, an 18 and 20 inch box with a 30-pound dumbbell for reps, which was so huge. And so it wasn't just one thing that we did. We took a multi-pronged approach to attack this issue, and that's why it worked so well. And so got her to a point where, yes, she was out of pain, gained so much strength, there weren't any strength discrepancies side to side. And so now we're moving her into the next phase of her program, which is she is only doing a once a month virtual session, so I can check in on her movement, how is she progressing and feeling. And then the other weeks, she has 4 days of workouts, or I think 2 full strength days, 1 day of running to do on her own. So with her homework strength stuff, I really ramped up the intensity since she's so much stronger and out of pain. So we're working on building strength and capacity. And she has 1 day per week of running. So she's super pumped to be able to run again. We're starting very small. We're doing running intervals. She's going slow, starting like very small, like running for 1.5 minutes, I'm pretty sure was her first like set of intervals, for a few sets. And she's been able to run with no pain or issues during and after. And that mixed with the more intense strength work, I mean, it is just so exciting. And she said that, like, hey, I'm able to go and run with confidence and knowing that, like, I can trust my body. And I think that is so amazing and a huge missing piece, because I feel like a lot of people, if they are struggling with pain and running specifically, you don't really know what's going to happen. So you like go out on your run and you're like, oh, like, when is my knee going to start hurting? Like, what do I do? Like, do I keep going? Should I stop? But like, she's able to go out on her runs with confidence and knowing that, like, my body is stronger and I can handle this. And she hasn't had any issues or flare-ups during or after, and that is just so exciting. So we'll be in this next phase for another 4 months, and then she's picking out a race to do in the fall, and she's particularly looking at doing a half marathon. So that is really amazing, because if we think about the whole process, like, if she started with me in this past December, and then if she runs a half marathon in the fall, that's not even a full year, going from not being able to run without pain or step up on a box without major pain to then the next fall being able to run a half marathon with no issue. Like, that's amazing. I know that is like a long time to some of you, but to see such a huge difference, I mean, in the grand scheme of life, that's not a super long time. And so I just wanted to share this with you guys, because if you are somebody who is dealing with pain with running, I think this is really important to hear, because it's not that you have to deal with the pain forever, but you do need to have a right approach and know that what you're doing for your body makes sense. Because it's like, you know, I could have multiple different clients with the same quote unquote symptoms with pain with running, but their programs are all going to look different because the root cause issue is probably going to be different, because everyone has different bodies, backgrounds, injuries, all of that jazz. So I wanted to share that as a glimmer of hope. You're not broken, and it is possible to get out of pain and get back to doing the things you love when you have the right approach. I would love to hear if you enjoyed this episode, you found it to be helpful, and if you are somebody who resonates with this story, I did a pain-free running masterclass at the end of March, and I would love to share it with you. It has a lot of really good information and education around why we might be experiencing pain with running, and just a really good learning experience. So if you're interested in getting that pain-free running masterclass, I want you to either send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email, and I would love to share that with you. So you can find me on Instagram at Ashley Crocker 127. My website is embracestrength.co. And then my email address is ashley@embracestrength.co. And I will link all of that in the show notes for you. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next week.